No Marvel movie is complete without some explosive action and crazy stunts. But who knew that sometimes making these hit blockbusters could actually get a little dangerous? In fact, sometimes your favorite Marvel stars got a little bit too much out of their comfort zones in order to give us the superhero flicks we know and love.
This video is brought to you by Answerly, a question platform that pays you for adding high-quality answers on different questions. The users are rewarded in Answerly tokens, which they can easily convert into dollars or any other cryptocurrency by using one of the exchanges mentioned in the description.
Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel. In today's video, we will be talking about the dangerous scenes to film in Marvel's cinematic universe. If you're new here, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notifications bell to get updates whenever we post. While there have been plenty of other occurrences where stuntmen and women suit up and perform some of the explosive stunts, standing in for Chris Evans, Benedict Cumberbatch, Evangeline Lily, Chris Hemsworth, and Robert Downey Jr. From diving from a helicopter into a lake, being hoisted back at rocket speed after being face first with an explosion, or jumping from truck to truck, these scenes weren't easy to film. Here are dangerous scenes to film in Marvel's cinematic universe. Wearing masks. Stuntmen and women make a living off of standing in for some of the biggest stars at Marvel. Sometimes the costumes can be so uncomfortable or the mask can be so hard to see out of that it makes filming these scenes even more nerve-wracking. One of the stuntmen of Marvel, Chris Romrell, could barely see out of a Star-Lord mask while filming an action scene, which let him make and quit the tumble, shattering the mask. Regardless, it's the commitment to the craft that makes these movies all the more special. Lake dive. Well, there are obviously many perks to the job. Being Spider-Man is a pretty tough job. Not only do you have to spend your days being flung around a set in a harness, potentially making yourself nauseous, but it's rather dangerous too. There's one scene in Spider-Man Homecoming that proves this quite emphatically, as it sees the webbed wonder having to dive into a lake while flying under a helicopter. It turns out Tom Holland was told that he couldn't perform in the sequence because it was just so dangerous, but he's now freely admitted that it was by far the scariest scene he saw shot during production. Gamora Freefall. Zoe Saldana typically enjoys a lot of her own stunt work whenever she has the opportunity to, but that doesn't make it any less frightening at times. Saldana was required to jump from around 30 feet off the ground, and while wire work was being used, she forgot that the jump was going to feel much more like a free fall. So when they said action, and she jumped, and she felt like dying. James Gunn wasn't really a fan of Saldana's acting in that scene and made her perform the jump again because she wasn't at the right angle of the camera. Chased by T'Challa. While filming T'Challa and Claw's fight scene in Seoul, South Korea, the late Chadwick Boseman had a hard time seeing out of his mask. This was even more unfortunate for Sandy Serkis, who just expected a normal fight scene, but wasn't prepared for Boseman to be totally committed to the role. Boseman ended up accidentally kneeing Serkis in the chest so hard in the first take that he thought his ribs were broken. On top of that, same scene would then be shot 30 more times. Car chase in Seoul. One of the most dangerous scenes John Petrina had to film as a double was when he was standing in for Chris Evans in Age of Ultron during the car chase sequence in Seoul. He is required to literally surf on a door through the streets of the South Korean city. One false move would have led him not to be able to double for Evans just a few weeks later. Crane jumps. Though the most dangerous stunt Robert Downey Jr.'s double Glenn Foster ever performed was when filming the climactic construction site battle in Iron Man 3. The scene was actually shot at night, making the stunts even more dangerous and required Foster to jump off cranes that were around 300 to 400 feet high. He had to leap into darkness and trust in the various cables he's attached to are going to do what they're supposed to. Wasp car chase. One of the most exhilarating scenes to film in Ant-Man and the Wasp was filming a stunt during the film's car chase sequence. The stunt required stuntwoman Ingrid Kleinig to stand on the back of a flatbed truck as a van would rear-end it. This caused Kleinig to fly through the back of the truck and smash through the van's glass windshield, all in the hot and fast streets of Atlanta. Wingsuit scene. The opening action sequence in the first episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier featured one of the most dangerous stunts in the MCU to date. 90% of the impressive plane hijacking scene was done practically with the Red Bull Air Force, and a group of experienced wingsuit pilots assisted on the scene as well. They were flying at 140 miles an hour and only a mere 6 inches off from each other, as the scene needed them to be as precise as possible. Literally the world's best wingsuit flyers who are ready to do this stuff for us. Flying Spider-Man. During Spider-Man's fight scene with Captain America, Cap ends up backhanding him with his shield. A ratchet and wire would pull stuntman Marvin Ross forward, which would activate a dead man line attached to his back. This meant whenever somebody would hit him, he would get slammed to the ground. And just after the first take, Ross felt like he couldn't move. They ended up doing it 4 or 5 times, and after those sequences, Ross was trying to drink and he couldn't even taste anything. Knocked out. Chris Pratt had always been curious about performing some of Star-Lord's stunts himself, but he didn't know just how dangerous they could be while performing a stunt that had him and a stunt performer suspended 15 feet in the air. The plans were for Pratt and the double to fall to the ground with controlled speed, ultimately landing on a mat. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned, as the crew accidentally thrust Pratt down in double the speed. Pratt tried to get in a position that wouldn't hurt the stuntman, but it did make for quite the hard landing as he turned a different direction and bounced his face off the mat. Captain America in Wakanda. Daniel Hargreaves served as Chris Evans' stunt double in multiple MCU scenes. But one of his craziest experiences performing dangerous stunts came while filming the Wakanda battle in Avengers Infinity War. A wire was attached to Hargreaves' chest to make it look as if he was running much faster. Hargrave made a misstep which caused him to trip, so he couldn't keep up with the winch, so he fell and got dragged face first about 20 yards, passing by all the superheroes. Thor's faceplant. Bobby Holland Hanton suffered quite a mighty blow while performing a risky stunt as Thor in Infinity War after being smacked off his feet by a tree, whom was played by Peter Dinklage. Hanton was punted off the ground while somersaulting through the air and ultimately landed face first on a rock and then head planting into the ground. While it may sound painful to Hampton, the danger is all part of the job. Attack in Sanctum Sanctorum. George Kirby had quite the explosive job cut out for him while doubling for Benedict Cumberbatch in Doctor Strange. In the scene where Caecilius attacks the Sanctum Sanctorum, Kirby's assistance was required for a more rugged stunt, as an exploding spell is cast. A contraption consistent of a piston and wires would hoist him back extremely fast, causing him to fly upside down through the air. Since MCU's main focus is superhero movies, action scenes need to be convincing to keep viewers interested. That's why a lot of actors had to do their own stunts. They always have doubles, of course, because no one can be expected to be able to perform those kinds of activities, and it's completely understandable if some actors decided not to. There are a lot of impressive fight scenes in the MCU. What people don't realize is how dangerous these scenes were made by these actors and stunt doubles, and how much hard work goes into bringing a character to life in a believable way. So, which of MCU movie is your favorite scene? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below.
If you like this video, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to this channel. To learn more about Answerly and Answerly tokens, check out the links in the description.